Okay, so one of the lessons learned from the Russian war against Ukraine is that modern day peer-to-peer conflict, we still need enough mass. So we need quantity in military personnel, right? And such a voluntary reserve force would basically alleviate the tasks from the active duty forces in the home country, in Belgium itself. So these active duty forces could focus on expeditionary tasks, right? So basically, for instance, reinforcing the eastern flank, while at the same time not leaving the home front exposed, right, in Belgium. So some of the tasks of these voluntary territorial reserve forces would be protecting critical infrastructure, harbors, airfields, maybe also energy infrastructure, right? So that the home front is not exposed. Now, these forces can also be useful during periods of national emergencies. Think about floods, for instance, that we saw in Wallonia. So there also these territorial reserve forces could help and maybe support firefighters, civil defense, and so forth. Now, how to make these positions appellant? I would think about 4 different reasons. So first one, flexibility, making sure that if somebody wants to join the reserve forces, that they can easily get in, also maybe get out, or that they sometimes have periods that they have more time to spend time in the military, right? Maybe part-time, or maybe other times of their life they only have a couple of days per year that they can support, so making it flexible. Then secondly, I would also focus on the learning opportunities and useful skills that you learn as a reservist. Think about, for instance, first aid, also being more resilient, being more efficient under stressful situations, right? And so for the individual, for the employer, and for society as a whole, you basically have a more resilient workforce and society, right? Then the third reason, of course, adventure, right? If you're doing something in the military, is quite different than in civilian life, so it can basically create a little bit more of an adventurous life. And then lastly, increase the willingness of employers to let the employees of their factory, for instance, become reservists, maybe through the use of financial incentives. I would think about Finland, because Finland has approximately half the GDP of Belgium and also half the population. However, they do spend 2.4% of their GDP on defense, Belgium only 1.3%. So they end up with roughly the same budget for their defense, right? They have a small active military force. However, they have the capability to mobilize up to 280,000 reservists with additional reserves if they take losses. They also have both heavy mechanized capabilities and medium motorized or wheeled capabilities. They have tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, all kinds of APCs, armored personnel carriers, different types of artillery, also anti-aircraft systems. They also ordered almost double the amount of F-35As, so they ordered 64, while Belgium has 34 on order. However, Finland, because of their geographical location, they are more territorial defense oriented, right? Belgium, of course, needs a little bit more of an expeditionary oriented force that we can easily, via air or sea lift, project our forces, for instance, to reinforce the eastern flank, right? But nonetheless, I think Finland is really a force to reckon with.